Hey guys, it's Hawk here, back with another video. Happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way. I hope you are having a very lucky day. In the spirit of the holiday, I will share some interesting experiences of mine, facts about the holiday, or just some other things in general that I found interesting. So enjoy! By the way, this is semi-scripted, so if I stumble over my words, I do apologize. If I go off topic, especially my experiences part, I do apologize. If you hear anything besides my speaking, I apologize. I don't have the best mic, so you know. So, number 1. A symbol of St. Patrick's Day is the shamrock. It is a name for several kinds of three-leaf clovers native to Ireland. Number 2. The clover was used by St. Patrick himself to illustrate the doctrine of the Trinity, and is still used today as such. Number 3. The chances of you, or anyone, finding a four-leaf clover is around 1 in 10,000. So if you found one, or just found one today, or will find one, lucky you. And number 4, it is estimated that around 2% of the world has green eyes. Now, I'd like to think it counts for today as having green on, because, I have green eyes, but just in case, wear something to avoid the pinches. Whether you go full out like me with green eye makeup, lipstick, well, I have green eyes, green pants, green hoodie, green Riddler shoes, Batman, or just, putting a little, green marker on your hand, whatever you're doing, just avoid those pinches. So, yeah, good luck. Now on to my experiences. I've had quite the number of lucky experiences, always seeming to come in twos, and I found them very interesting and, well, lucky. So I'm like, well, in the spirit of the holiday, I might as well share them. So, yeah, here they are. So, number 1, it has to do with the claw machine game, and I know that most of my audience will know what those are. Whether you're at a gas station or like a convenience store somewhere that you've seen those, Chuck E. Cheese's, some carnivals, some places you've gone, you've probably seen these, and everybody knows that these games are very, very, very rigged. And I remember I'd go to, I think it was like Chuck E. Cheese's or something that's like Chuck E. Cheese's, where you would go and get pizza, and there's a lot of these games around. I don't think it was Chuck E. Cheese's. It was kind of like an off-brand Chuck E. Cheese's in a way, but can't say the name of it because it would say where I live. So yeah, no. But basically, it was something along the lines of Chuck E. Cheese's, and I'd go there when I was little, and especially with my babysitter when I was very, very little, and I'd always be like, oh my gosh, I want to play the game. And whether it's my babysitter or my parents, they'd always be like, yeah, no, you're not gonna win it. We don't want you, lose. We don't want you, be upset because you're gonna lose. So he would never really let me play, except for once or twice, which happened to be my lucky time. So I remember the first time I was little, and I, of course, like I said, and I was in there, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to play. He's like, are you sure you want to play this? You may not win anything. Don't be upset if you don't win anything. You're not going to win anything. And I'm like, no, I want to play it anyways. I want to get something in there. So I went and played the game, and it was interesting because it was my first time playing too, I think. And I won. I remember it was this stuffed red dragon, and I loved that thing. I went a lot of places with it. It was my thing. It was my thing. And I loved having it. It was great. It was one of my favorite things I had at the time. Well, no, I didn't. Not one of my favorite things, but I definitely liked having it. And it always brings a little fond memory back to my heart. And I remember then a few weeks later, I went there and I wanted to play again because I'm like, hey, I won the first time. I can win a second time. And as luck would have it, I won the second time. So I was like, that's pretty interesting. I think I'm going to add this into here. So I've always found that interesting because everybody knows you don't win claw machine games unless you're hella lucky. Although there are ways to win them, they vary from machine to machine. Some are based off how much strength or whatever. I've heard that. I heard it's also just based off every fifth person or every 12 games or something like that you can win, or it's just random sometimes, or I think it varies from machine to machine. You'd have to look up different methods of doing such, but there are ways of winning, so if you want to look it up, you can. And number 2, going with rigged games, this will be carnival games, in particular the balloon dart games. Now, this is more of a recent experience dealing with last summer, or summer of 2017, that sort of thing. So it was one of those summer festivals, I think it was for the 4th of July or something like that, and I was there, and I wanted to try out the balloon dart game, and my family was like, hey, you're not going to win anything, like, that's really rigged, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I just want to try it anyways, because we're just having fun, playing games, whatever, and I went up to there, and I remember I bought 11 darts, and so I wanted to play, and what I did win, popped 8 out of 11 balloons, but I'll tell you my method right now, so if anybody wants to win one of these games, now you can. So what you want to do, and this works for darts that have, like, bent tips, some of those had that, so not the greatest, but something I noticed is that a lot of people, they just kind of hold it, just kind of toss it, and they just kind of hold it with, like, a very weak grip. And something I thought is that, hey, you can toss it, but if you don't have any force behind your throw, what's it gonna pop? It's gonna hit the balloon, but it's not gonna pop it. So what I thought is that I'd hold it, like, kind of like how you would hold a pencil, how you're properly supposed to hold a pencil, and I held it like that, and I whipped it as hard as I could up there without hurting myself, obviously. And I popped up, and I just kept doing that in rapid succession, because usually if I go slow, for me personally, now if you go better going slow, do that, but I tend to do better quickly, because then I don't have time to stall or, like, stumble, but I whipped it up there as hard as I could without hurting myself, and I happened to pop that many. So if you want to win, just kind of hold it like how you're supposed to hold a pencil and put force behind your throw, because if you don't, you're not gonna pop anything, even if you hit it. So that's just my advice, and I know that I won a little Finn plushie, like, from Adventure Time, and I also played another one of those games, I think, next month, I think it was, like, yeah, during August, and I won a Scooby-Doo plush at a more local fair, and it was just fun. I thought I'd share that little experience there, because it's also like, I won things twice in a row, and I think that's interesting. The third is a spelling bee. Oh, I didn't really win. It was second place, but hey, best loser, am I right? But seriously, I also found this interesting. So I did win second place in 2 spelling bees in a row when I was in 2nd and 3rd grade, and I mean, I don't really have any methods for spelling bees except for really, really studying, and with that, I also found, at least for myself, if I look at something, especially soon after I wake up and soon before I go to bed, I have a better time remembering it. If I get good sleep, I have a better time remembering it. If I eat good food, I have a good time remembering it. Things like that. So don't try stressing yourself out, because stress is more likely to make you not remember it so well, at least from my experience. And I would just kind of take it easy, but at the same time, still do my best. So honestly, my tips for winning spelling bees, obviously I can't really say much for 2nd or 3rd grade, because it's very, very basic, like how do you spell dog, D-O-G, like everybody knows that, or most people know that. But and with things like that in general, or competitive academic sort of things, I would just recommend to study, just don't overwork yourself. If you overwork yourself, you'll find yourself too stressed and unable to remember quite as much, so yeah, just some interesting things, and I did win it twice in a row, so hopefully this wasn't too much of just me bragging. Sorry if it was, but yeah, it's just something I found interesting, just because it's a lucky day, and I'm like, hey, I've always had interesting luck come in twos. So let me know if you've had any lucky experiences like that. And yeah, that's all, folks. Good luck and avoid getting pinched. This is Hawk signing out.